Well, would you believe it, it's actually a nice day here. There's a slight breeze which might affect the welding, but basically it's a day for metal work. So I'm going to crack on finally with modifying the cockpit combings. As you can see, the old cockpit combings are a little bit worse for wear. These plinths here were for the old winches, which we've still got, which we're still going to use. This one here was for the furling for the Genoa, and these are the plinths for the head sail Genoa sheet winches. So what are we going to do? What's the plan with this? Well, very simply, my feeling is that this is all wasted space under this combing. You can't stand in it because you've got your winch here and you've got your sheets coming across here, so this space here is wasted. And because we're going to be using these aft portion of the boat for Jack to sleep under this side and as a lazarette workshop under the other side, my feeling is I'm going to box them in. So the first thing I'm going to do today is trim off the old top. I'm just going to leave a little lip so I've got something to sit the new panel on, but I'm going to trim off all of this old cockpit combing top, and then I'm going to make some templates using some hardboard. And now I can start boxing it in. Well, I've got to cut out this actual corner piece as well. This piece of tubing here has always puzzled me. It seems like a really bad idea. It's a piece of tubing pipe welded to the deck coming up through the cockpit combing. I can only assume it was for some sort of bimini frame or something like that at some point. But as you saw, it's full of water and full of sand. And having, as far as I'm aware, having lots of water and sand sitting on steel, probably not the cleverest idea in the world. Anyway, it's going, so that's that. So this area of the cockpit back here, I've cut down to the level of the deck. And the reason I've done that is so that the helmsman can sit up here when the boat's heeling. And I'm wondering if I need to cut it out a little bit further. I think I do. I think this gap is going to be a little bit tight. It's quite cosy because you can lean against the stanchion here, but I think I need another couple of 3 inches there. It also means that it's much easier access to this cleat, and when you're cleating off, you're not going to bash your hand on the aft end of this box bit here. So I think I'm going to take it off level with the front of that cleat, I think. I'll probably put some of the wooden slats up here as well, just as a little kind of seaty type thing for the helmsman to sit on. That'll look quite pretty. Just going to clean this up with a flat disc next, to start looking at prepping for welding in the new bits. In last week's episode, I was starting to prep the frameworks for the seat slats, if you remember. Jack and I did some work tapping threads, and that was all very cute. but I'm pretty glad I didn't weld them on. It was pouring with rain, if you remember, and I couldn't do any welding. But to be honest, it's a good job, because now kneeling on this to do this would have been a nightmare, because I don't want to have the wooden slats on because it would ruin them, and having all of those metal brackets welded on would have just made this a lot more uncomfortable to kind of work on the combing. So it's actually a good job I'm doing it this way around. Serendipity, eh? So what's the next step then? Well, take some measurements and start doing the CAD. Now, most of you will know CAD as computer-aided design, and whilst we are fairly high-tech, we've had Tim along doing some actual CAD, computer-aided work with his software, looking at the dynamics of the boat. The kind of CAD I'm doing is more kind of Project Binky. It's cardboard aided design, not computer aided design. Let's get some measurements first. Don't want it quite that wide here. I still want to be able to have room to cleat this off, but I do want to have room to put a winch base here. So here's the winches that came off the boat. These are very old Enkers 22s. They are 2-speed and they are self-tailors. Beautiful. They'll go there nicely. So we are possibly keeping these, but possibly retiring them. We're not sure yet. We've actually got an amazing follower. I mean, you're all amazing. We appreciate all of you. But one of our followers over in the States, absolutely incredible, has managed to source us some new winches, second-hand winches, because we just haven't got enough on the boat, and he's sending them over. In the meantime, have a look at these. These are some Harken 48.3s, 3-speed plain tops, and I got these from Reese from SV Zora, Sailing Zora. If you haven't seen Sailing Zora, he's got another steel boat just like this, very, very similar, but without the pilot house. Mine's better. His is better. Mine will be better. Ours will be better. Sorry, Melissa. But yeah, Reese kindly sorted these out for us. He's had some new winches, so these are his old winches, 48.3s. These will be fantastic sheet winches for the Genoa. It'd be nice to try and convert them to self-tailors. And with the winches that the other guy's sending us, but we will then have 6 decent winches, 2 on the coach roof. Sorry, we'll have 8. 2 on the coach roof for the halyards and what have you. And then 6 on the combings, 2 for the Genoa, 2 for the staysail, and 1 either side as spares, one of which will be for the roller reefing. So we'll be well catered for in the winch department. So yeah, fantastic. And thanks very much to Reese from SV Zora, putting a link in the description and one of those card things up here in the top corner of the screen. Click on that, go check out Reese's channel, and don't forget to subscribe to him. He's a great guy, and he's also a fount of knowledge. So if any of you are doing boat work, I'd go to him for advice quite a lot, to be honest. But getting back to the situation that we're on, will our main sheet winches fit here? And yes, they will actually. I'd probably want them about here, wouldn't I? I don't want them too close. And bear in mind, the steering is here. So to have the main sheet winches just forward of this cleat will be absolutely perfect. So the winch base is, yeah, around about there. I'll be making some proper winch bases for these as time goes by, but let's have a look. We need 8 inches really to clear that, 20 centimeters, 200 mil. So that'll give me a good idea of, I want 200 mil there. Yeah, which means 200 mil there would be too much, but 18 mil there would be, 180 mil there would be about spot on. I've got my measurements. Now I've got a big piece of hardboard in here, which I bought the other day and kept in the boat to keep it dry. So now you can watch me try and manhandle an 8x4 sheet of hardboard down off the sugar scoop in a slight breeze. That should be entertaining. All steel boats are bendy, and ours is no exception. It's a bendy boat. So I'm cutting this slightly oversized from my measurements to account for the fact that there's some slight ripples and twists in the steel, which happens when you weld large sheets of steel. They twist a little bit, so you don't get absolutely perfectly straight lines. I want this cockpit combing top to slant back so that when the boat's heeling, this is a flat area or a flatter area to sit on. So the way I've done that, the front of the cockpit combing here is 27.5 centimetres, 275 mil, and the back I have made 23.5 mil. Now there's going to be some port lights in the tumble down here, but could even put a port light in the combing as well, couldn't we? What I wanted to do now was just to tell you about something that I'm doing independently of the channel, but to kind of support the channel. A lot of people have sort of asked me to put together an album. So I thought, well, okay, I'll do that then. So I have recorded an album of all guitar music, me playing, and it's available for sale now for $15 US, and you can pay direct bank transfer or PayPal. Just basically drop us an email to turner.andy@hotmail.com. That's turner.andy@hotmail.com, and I will contact you directly. So I'm selling the album for $15 US, direct transfer, PayPal, and then I send you the album either through Dropbox or as a zip file, or I can send you the individual files. I'll find a way to get the MP3s to you. Anyway, this is a little piece called Going Home that I wrote many moons ago, and this is kind of a new rendition of it, I guess. Oh, that's scary. I really hope it doesn't start raining now. Well, what it means is that there's proper headroom down here. I'm poking my head all the way out there. But because the roof, the ceiling, if you like, the headlining will be here, there's actually room to sit up, stand up, get changed. It's a proper little half cabin. Well, once it's panelled out, of course. It's welding time. can't do any more tonight, so I'm going to carry on tomorrow morning. What we have now got is a solid metal cockpit combing, which is very sturdy and very strong, and I've seam welded it inside and out. I didn't film me doing it inside because there's no point, you wouldn't be able to see anything, but that has been seam welded the whole way along, inside and out. It's always weird being a YouTuber when there's lots of other people around. The places, there's lots of tourists and stuff around here today, and it just feels a bit strange talking to the camera. Occasionally I'll get people sort of say to me, sort of comment or answer me when I'm talking to the camera, and I have to sort of say, oh sorry, I'm not actually talking to you, I'm talking to some fictitious people all around the world. It's a weird thing. Anyway, cockpit combings, yes, the templates from yesterday do fit. So they are within a gnat's whisker, shall we say, of being identical. Well, we're ready to weld again. I've cut out sections similar to the other side. Again, I've left some bits in so that it doesn't twist and warp, so they act kind of like a jig. Obviously you could, the kind of perfect way to do this would be to cut out absolutely everything, build a jig and rebuild everything all in one go. But I'm cutting out bits at a time and using the old bits as a jig to hold the boat in, you know, in alignment while I fix stuff. So which is a perfectly fine way to do it. So yeah, onwards and upwards, welding this side now. What I'm realizing more and more as I go along is the ability to weld is neither here nor there. Welding's got nothing to do with it. Welding's the easy bit. The difficult bit is getting all the flipping parts to fit together properly. Now you've seen how much I've put work into templating and fettling and fiddling with these pieces of steel to get them to fit right, and they still don't fit as well as I'd like them to. So I'm still messing about with these bits of steel. Right, the welding's all done for today. I can't do any more, run out of time, so it's time to tidy up. That's better. Cockpit looks nice. I've given it a bit of a slathering with some red oxide. The red oxide paint, by the way, as I've probably said before, but I'll just repeat because some people have missed other episodes, this isn't our forever primer. We're using the Jotun 87 primer. The only reason I'm putting the red oxide on is to protect the paint until we can get around to using the expensive stuff. There's still quite a lot more fabrication to do. The slats for the seats that was in last week's episode, that's all got to be done. And obviously we've got to tidy up all of these welds and grind them back flat and all of that stuff. But really pleased. We've now got good solid box combings with more headroom in the aft cabin and the lazarette, better ways to mount our winches and better seating in the cockpit. And on that note, thanks very much for watching, guys. It just means the world to us that you're continuing to watch our silly little project. Thanks for all your support. Remember to like the video if you like it, and remember to comment on it. We love reading your comments and we try to answer all of them if we possibly can. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and when you've done that, click the little notification bell, and you'll get to see every episode that we bring out, which is every Wednesday at the moment. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.